Hello, everybody. I'll be chiming in to Jose. He'll be leading us through this webinar. This is the first of our series of webinars that we hope to deliver during the next few weeks and months to help the community understand how to best get the value out of Blazedpath and start using and creating great applications with it. So yeah, thanks for joining again. Happy to have you.
Perfect. Then again, I'm Jose Merchan. I think there was a problem with my microphone. So this is our table of contents for today. We are going to be setting up an account in Blazedpath. We're going to download the studio. We are going to go over the account verification. Then we are going to make the actual install and make a quick example with one of the stencils for the local studio, so you can see exactly how to use Blazedpath effectively to make great developments. So let's dive in. So I'm going to switch to the monitor. So I have a browser here. We are basically going to go to the Blazedpath site, and I'm going to create a new account with an email and basically download and install the local studio. So go to www.blazepath.com. I'm going to maximize the browser so you can see it. So in here, besides the notifications, you would have to go to set up your free account. And on this page, come again here to set up your free account. And in here, click on register. And in here, it's going to ask you your basic information. So I'm going to type my email. This is the email I made just for this example. jlmarchan@blazepath@gmail. I'm going to choose a password. There you go. Make sure the CAPTCHA knows that I am not a robot. Click on register. So these are the Blazedpath terms and conditions. You can access them at any time. In case you want to read them right now, this is the moment you can do it. But in case you want to review them at a later time, of course you can do it anytime you want. So I'm just going to click on accept. And now it's asking me to actually do the email verification. So I have my new email set up on this new other tab. So wait for the email to come. Here, Blazedpath verify email. Click on it. Click on verify the email. And we are in. So basically this is the cloud at Blazedpath. You have these four main options. You have the download center, you have the cloud services, the documentations, and the forums. We're going to go a little bit deep on mainly the documentation later on when we are actually reviewing examples. The cloud services is where you actually build the applications for deploy, and you can actually deploy them directly to our clouds. And if you build the application there, you can actually download either the Kubernetes, the Docker images, and the actual code with the instructions to set up the servers on your own servers if you wish to. So what we are going to do right now is go to the download center to download the actual program. And as you can see, we are a multi-platform, so we have Windows, Linux, and Apple. I'm just going to click on the latest version for Windows right now. Wait for the file to download. And when it's ready, I am going to install it.
Just doing the Windows install. Of course, we have studios also for developing applications for Mac and for Linux.
Yeah, there we go. We are ready. So we are going to start the install. The install is very simple. You don't have basically to do anything. Click on run. Wait for it to finish.
the studios get installed locally, so you can work locally, creating your applications, preview, and do local builds in memory to preview your work.
And there you go. So this is the first thing you will see in Blazedpath. This is the launcher. You are presented with three options. You can create a new workspace because Blazedpath works with workspace mainly. The workspace is basically one folder on your local hard drive that stores all the information needed for the end product. So you can create a new workspace which is standalone. You can of course select an existing workspace if someone shared it with you. You can actually connect directly to the Git repository because you can store things there, and we have a fully fledged implementation of Git inside the Blazedpath Studio in case you want to manage your Git commits from there. So for this example, I'm just going to create a new workspace. The only requirement here is to use an empty folder. I have a folder prepared that has nothing on it, so I'm going to go Blazedpath, Blaze Workspaces, and which one is it? New folder. I think it's, yeah. There you go. So this is the local studio. Right off the bat, it's asking you to create a new solution. The solutions are basically the product you are trying to use. I'm just going to use a normal name. We use Pascal notation for the solution's name, so that's maybe something you have to take care of. So I'm just going to go to webinar solution. And in here, yeah.
And also, we Blazedpath offers templates on how your solution should be basically structured, whether it be a front-end application only with connected to backend REST services, or front-end with a backend and a database. Just very basic templates of solutions you have there for modeling your architecture, which is the starting point of any Blazedpath solution.
So here, as you can see, you have the blank solution. We have an example with a mobile application that's connecting to an external REST service. We have an example with one microservice with a mobile web application that connects to a database. We have a similar example, but with an actual desktop application that again connects to an external REST service, and the same example with the local database and the web application. For this example, we're just going to use the web application that connects to an external REST service. I'm just going to click on OK. And this is where the development would start. So this, on the left hand, you have a couple of items. You have the architecture view, which is the one by default, the one we are seeing right now. The architecture is basically a map of all the systems that comprise your entire solution. In this case, we only have two systems, the web application and the external service. The external service is here just so you can configure actually the endpoints and managing the routes and security of all the calls. So once you are done with this main architecture, you will have to go to the second icon here. You will see that all across our platform, our suite, we use drag and drops, the drag and drop paradigm. So let's say if I want to add a database to my solution, I would just drag the database and drop it on the canvas. So I would call this my database, click on OK. And then if I want to tell my web application to connect directly to the database, I would click on the web application, grab the arrow that stems from the center of the element, and drop it on the other system. So now Blazedpath knows that the web application has to connect to the local database, and whenever I want to actually make a call, it will already have all the metadata of the database, and I can call directly to the elements inside the database. So let's say that I actually want to start developing right now. I would go to the second icon, which is the Explorer. And in here, you will see all the elements you have on the architecture. In here, we have the web application, which you can see there's a bunch of, you have events in here. This onload event is the one that governs what the application does when it loads. We have a screen that's called in here CMP Home. This screen basically is the welcome screen that's by default in all the front ends. We have the external REST API, which is pre-configured, of course, with all the functions and types. And we have the database we just created from scratch, which has nothing in it. Let's say if you want to start working on one of these systems, and if you want to, let's say, create a representation of a table, you have two ways. Basically, you can either create the table directly or create an entity relationship diagram that can actually show you the map of all the tables in the systems. So that's what I'm going to do right now, just to show you how it works. I'm going to go right-click, New Entity Relationship Diagrams, and I'm going to name it my ER diagram. Usually you will need a microservice to connect from the front end. You would connect the front end to a microservice, and then the microservice would then manage the database. This is just a quick example, just so that you can see how it works. But usually the big solutions may tend to be more complex, and encapsulating the database with a microservice is much better. And we even have wizards to help you manage tables directly with the queries and all the possible operations you want to do. So in here I have my ER diagram. I came back to the Explorer, and since I don't have anything pre-configured here, I'm just going to grab on the menu the table widget, and I'm going to drop it on the canvas. So I'm going to name my new table TBL person. So this table, which has no metadata here, you'll double click on it and it will open you a pop-up with all the configuration for this table. This TBL person thing I wrote before is the actual name of the element in Blazedpath. So if I can map this to any table on the actual database, so let's say that on the database, my table is called TBL_person. And I'm just going to add one field so you can see how it goes. I'm going to add a column here, which is going to be basically the ID. It auto-completes the alias. Select integer as the primary key, and that's it. So once you click on OK, the canvas will update, and you will see how this big canvas starts spreading and building and showing you a graphical representation of how your database is structured. This is a very useful tool to actually understand how things are connected. So when you are trying to do operations on the database, you can always come here to the ER diagrams and actually do analysis. So
I wanted to note also that here we're reviewing how to work with a relational database with Blazedpath. But Blazedpath also offers support for MongoDB, non-relational models, MongoDB, and very shortly we'll be offering Cassandra, another type of non-relational and document databases.
Perfect. So since this is a stencil of one solution that comes pre-configured, we are basically ready to start an in-memory build. So in this in-memory build, you can do unlimited previews of your product to do multiple testings. And since this is completely local, it's extremely fast, and you can actually connect to anything. So the way you actually launch a preview is on the upper right of the Blazedpath platform, where you can see a default combo box here. It has you can add more configurations, and you have the run button. So basically, these two fields are very connected, because this is where you set up the environments for your preview. So let's quickly open the default one so you can see what I'm talking about. So in here you have the web application ready to be previewed. It's just going to use a random port. There's basically no authorization server right now, but since this is actually a pre-configured stencil, the external REST API is configured and it's pointing to the actual service with the URL. And since the database was just created, it's just sitting on mock. So basically, when I click on run, it's going to create a preview with this configuration. If you want to create 7 unlimited configurations, you can, let's say, connect to the database with the development and use the REST API locally with the mock service, and you can auto-generate the mock data. You can do any combinations you want, so you can just focus specifically on what you are actually trying to test. So let's just click on run right now and show you the local preview. So this is basically going to start building the stencil, and if we go to the 4th icon on the menu on the left, you will see the console. So the console is, as you would probably guess, a console where you can see all the outputs of the solution. So basically, this is it says build process has finished successfully, and we have 2 servers ready to preview. So basically, we are launching a server with a memory database where you can actually do any tests you need, connecting to the web application. Sorry. So basically, you can actually create a mock database.
You can see the output. So you can see the output of the generator, the in-memory generator, and the compiler.
Yeah. So basically, if you click on here, you will see that you don't have to bother or to start configuring a MySQL server or a Postgres server or an Oracle server. You can just start your development directly, and when you are ready to actually dump your configuration on an actual database, you just grab the scripts that the Blazedpath Studio offers you whenever you click on synchronize, and you just apply them directly to your database. So this is a very useful tool to launch quickly and start developing very fast, so you don't have to do many steps and start trying to install multiple systems. You can just start working on your product directly. So on the console, the very last item we see here is the web application, which is sitting on a local host address. So I'm just going to click in here, and as you can see, the address is the same, 52.594, which is basically this is a very simple welcome page that shows a grid. We have a filter in here. When we click something on the filter and click on search, we can start getting all the information from the REST service. This works because let me quickly stop this service, and I want to show you the actual welcome page we are looking, because we use what you see is what you get schema to develop, which is basically we have a designer with a lot of widgets which you can configure on the designer, and the end result of when you actually launch the application is going to is going to look like exactly how you are seeing it right now. So as you can see on my suite, I have the preview of how it's going to look, and on the actual browser you can see how it actually ends up looking. So besides the widgets, because this is only the designer preview, we have another tab called logic, and in here you have events for all of the widgets that comprise your design. So let's say you have a grid in here. So you have on the events section, if you right click on the events, you will see a lot of events that are actually particular to this exact screen. So this gives you full control of any behavior of any widgets at any time. So let's see on the grid you have on the activate, when you want to try to count the records, when you move something, when you select a record. So it gives you very granular control of what of what the widgets are doing at any time. So now that we have seen that, maybe we can jump directly to the cloud again and show you how to actually access the cloud services, because
this was a very high overview on Blazedpath suite and some of the tools that are available, and how to get started with a project, connect to a backend REST service, connect to a database, do something on the front end, kind of give you an idea on how the front end works. So yeah, let's go back to the other part of the setting up, which is equally as important.
Yeah. So if I come back to the Blazedpath cloud and we click on the overview, we see that we have the documentation. This is a very comprehensive document with details, everything you need to know about Blazedpath. We have, if you click on there, you will see that we have instructions on how to build front ends. We have hands-on examples. So these hands-on examples are fully documented. So basically these examples, if you come to the suite and we click on this little arrow in here, you will see that you have the solutions, assets, and extensions. And if you go to Blazedpath Essentials, you would see 9 solutions right now. So these 9 solutions are the hands-on examples, like the fully finished examples on these topics. So let's say you want to see how security works in Blazedpath. So you have this solution that is represented in here. So if you click on setting up security and you go to the hands-on example, you have a very detailed works on how the security works, with charts and steps to build the example from scratch, so you can understand exactly everything you need to know about security. So that's on the documentation. Then let me go back to the overview in here. So we have the documentation, and then we have the forums. The forums is where you can find us and ask any doubt. You can ask any questions, any technical questions, anything about future webinars you want to see subjects about. And then we have the cloud services.
Just how-tos or special cases, or if you have doubts, you can reach us through the forum. We're more than happy to take a look and communicate with you through that channel.
Perfect. So when let's say you have your minimal viable product and you are ready to start deploying, just to show you the client. So everything you've done until now, let's say this webinar solution is your minimal product, and you want to start the process of actually doing deploys. So since this is local, there's absolutely no charge on anything you've done until now. So when you actually want to do the actual deploys, you will go in here to the cloud services. In these sections is where you will actually end up doing the builds, the deploys, and then you will be able to get the Kubernetes, the Docker files, and the actual source code to make the deploys if you want to. So
comment there is that Blazedpath Suite, as you've seen, it's available to the general public. You can download and create your solution as large as you want, as for many users, as many solutions as you want. And then you can preview locally your project and integrate work with your team through Git. The idea is that when you're ready to actually build your deploy package and the source code, get your source code, you have to do that on Blazedpath, on cloud services.
So let's go quickly on what you have to do to actually access this service. So you click on here, and so this is where you would you would introduce or input your referral code. You will need to put it in here to proceed with the verification. I'm just going to not use anything here and click on proceed with verification. So this is basically to validate your identity. We are going to ask for credit card information. You don't have to worry because we are not going to be charging anything from now on. All Blazedpath accounts start with 10,000 credits that are free credits, so you can actually do the deploys, so you can actually do all the tests you need to actually make Blazedpath work for you and your organization. So these credits will basically be enough to build and deploy your applications. And if you ever run out of credits, you can just purchase more, and because we have a pay-as-you-go scheme right now.
Yeah, the reason why we ask for the credit card at this point is basically so, given that we are giving away free cloud credits for which usage within the cloud services imply a load in our data center. We're giving that as a trial, which is plenty to play around and to test Blazedpath and even to do a small project with it. But we need to get that that credit card, not to charge it initially, but to verify the identity of the person, to really have some sort of control on how many users are actually using the platform, the service, and do not have things like duplicate accounts and things like that. We reduce the likelihood of something like that happening. So that's why we ask for the credit card at this point.
Perfect. So basically, once you finish up with this step, you would go to actually the Blazedpath Cloud Services to actually start the deploy, where you would basically connect your Git to the cloud, and that will pull from any branch you want, make the build, and then offer you the deploys, so that you can actually do whatever you need to do with your packages. We also have the hosting for your testing, so you can actually see how they would work on a cloud. So you have a very quick and easy way to actually test your products. So that's everything we wanted to share today. We invite you to come to our forums and ask any questions you want. If you want us to cover any other topic on the future webinars, we are happy to do so. So just go in there, ask your questions, and we will come take it from there. So if you have any questions, we would be happy to take them and answer them.
Yeah, so I wanted to make a comment on the next webinar, where we'll be covering more in depth how to use the cloud services. And for that, I wanted to anticipate a quick note regarding Blazedpath pricing. So, like I said, Blazedpath Development Suite, and it's supporting resources like documentation, the forum access, the video tutorials, webinars. It's all free. But the cloud services are currently in a pay-as-you-go model. So Blazedpath charges cloud credits for cloud service usage. So you do that for running actual builds, like Jose Luis was explaining, and for deploying applications, and all that happens in the cloud. And also, the build history has an associated recurring cloud credit charge. So your build images, if you store them on Blazedpath Cloud, well, there's a charge based on on time that those packages are staying there in our cloud. So you can delete them and avoid those charges. It's very inexpensive, you'll see, but this time charging service usage help us offset infrastructure costs. Yeah, so you can check out the pricing page to check all the applicable cloud credit rates. And also another note is that you can optionally deploy your running solutions in Blazedpath Cloud. And those, of course, have an associated recurring cloud credits charge. It's also detailed in the environment. When you set it up, it'll tell you how much it is charging based on the size and based on the time, on the running time. So we pay for those, of course, so those environments. So of course we need to charge for them. So with the free cloud credits, you can try them and deploy your solution. Of course, you can download your build and deploy it outside Blazedpath. You can download the source code and be completely not locked in. There's nothing that keeps you captive in the platform. And but yeah, so at this time, whoever gets in and opens a cloud credit account, cloud service account, sorry, it'll stay in a pay-as-you-go model. And our commitment is that for the time being, these initial users will be allowed to remain in pay-as-you-go. Will never get forced to subscribe, for example. So as you use your cloud credits, you'll be able to get cloud credit packs that you can purchase with the credit card that you've entered at the beginning. So yeah.
I think there's a question here that we should answer. It says, do you guys offer training and support from Juan Jose? So do you want to take it, Gustavo, or want me to?
Sure, yeah. So as we have mentioned, as far as training, you will have access to our series of video tutorials here on our YouTube channel. You get full access to documentation with hands-on examples, and both these free webinars are sort of a light training mode. And all available support at this time is handled through our forum. So we are directing all questions through the forum, and we are answering them through there. I don't know if we have any other question.
Let's see.
The time.
Says in here, who is the platform aimed for? From Lucio Lobos.
Sure. So Blazedpath is mostly for developers, right? So other local platforms will be more directed towards citizen developers. And Blazedpath, it's not really like that. You see that it offers more lower level tools, and that gives more granular control, but that require prior development experience. And it's not that it's impossible. It's just it's most directed and for developers, and especially if they have a great application that they have imagined, that they want to start small and in time grow with it and add more functionality, be able to scale, and Blazedpath is ideal for that because of its architecture and the ability to apply a distributed architecture really, and how with the deploys you can control each of the components, how it scales, and this is ideal to start with a small application and then go on scaling and building and improving on with Blazedpath. Yeah.
Perfect. Maybe we can answer one last question again from Juan Jose. It says, can we use Blazedpath to create mobile applications, since we see in the desktop version? But yes, basically, absolutely. Blazedpath, you can build web applications and also mobile. We have direct APKs for Android, and we also have the ones for iOS. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be covering some of those build and deploy lifecycle in the next webinar, and probably in the next. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again soon, and well, we can see what you come up with the Blazedpath platform. Thank you so much. See you.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel. There will be more webinars that about how-tos and about low code and how to work with the platform. And really thank you for the time, and hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bueno, ahí lo corté.